very first soul snack of the Soul Stylist Collective. So, first things first, what is a soul snack? A soul snack is a bite-sized piece of information or a teaching or guidance or an exercise that you can do and take it with you throughout your day, take it with you throughout your week to support you in coming back to your intuition, in remembering your truth, and building back the trust within yourself so that you can live an intuitive wellness lifestyle. So we're going to keep all those little things in there because this is real time. And I want to keep these videos short and sweet. So this week, the first soul snack is to help introduce you into intuition. And so this is Intuition 101. And there's 3 things I really want you to understand about intuition. And yes, I'm reading off a notepad because my memory doesn't need to serve me here when I can have a notepad. So bonus soul snack is to have a journal or a notebook with you because you don't have to have it all in your head. Get it out of your head onto paper and know that it's okay to use a notebook, even when you're recording videos. Okay. All right. So Intuition 101. First thing about intuition that you want to know is that everyone on this planet has an intuition. Everyone is born with intuition. How connected to that intuition you're born with is an individual thing. Some people are born very connected. Some people are born into places where they're not connected. That's cool. They still have one. Every single person has one, and every single person can develop their connection to their intuition. And what that will do is help them to have a deeper trust within themselves and a deeper understanding of their inner workings and knowings. So what is intuition? Intuition is an inkling, a feeling, an immediate knowing. It is a scent that comes in and sparks this memory that drops in a message that you're like, oh, now I know why this thing happened. An intuition is any type of internal message that we receive from within ourselves. It's usually activated through the clairs. So that is our, clairsentient, our clairvoyance. So our ability to hear, see, and feel energetically without any external information, without having to research. Like we just know things sometimes. We hear things and all of a sudden we can get put into a new experience in that moment where we can see whatever is happening in front of us in a new perspective simply by hearing a song. Or we smell smoke and all of a sudden we smell our great grandmother and we're like, interesting. And then all of a sudden you're connecting with your great grandmother. So your intuition comes in all these different ways. And the purpose of intuition is to be our internal guide and our guiding light towards fulfilling our soul's essence and our spiritual expression here in this body and on this earth. Now, what that looks like doesn't matter. It's different for everybody. If everyone was supposed to be exactly the same and have the same intuition, and we're all supposed to be working towards the same thing of goals and whatever the stuff everyone's working on, life would be real boring, okay? And I prefer to live a real groovy life where everyone's life is just uniquely theirs. Okay, so I want you to know that wherever your intuition is guiding you, that's where you're meant to be going. Trust it. If you're a musician, follow the music. If you're an artist, follow the art. If you're a mother, follow the mothering. Follow the intuitional path that your soul is speaking to you and calling you unto. Okay? Rule number 1 is intuition. Everyone's got one, and everyone's is going to be different. So listen to your intuition and follow the path that brings you the most fulfillment and joy. And that's what listening to your intuition, the more you develop, your intuition is going to bring you towards. It's that life of satisfaction and fulfillment because you're going to start taking action based on what you know to be true for yourself instead of what other people are telling you should be doing, or society or your job, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All the things that take us away, which leads us into the second thing about intuition, which is that over time, throughout our upbringing, from the time we're born, all the way up until we decide to reconnect and trust our intuition, we are being disconnected from our intuition. So things that can separate us from our intuition can start from the minute we're born. It's what are we taught? How are we taught? In what ways are we taught? What are the belief systems we're built with? Are we taught to trust our intuition as a child, or are we taught to give all of our power and experience over to someone else who's going to dictate to us and tell us who we are and what we need to be doing? All of these things take us away from our intuition. So culture, personal experiences, traumas can take you out of your, things like car accidents can make you not trust your intuition anymore. There are so many ways we become disconnected. Going to school, going away to college and having a negative experience makes you wonder, why did I do all this? Did I make the right choice, right? Like, have you ever questioned, did I make the right choice? And that's the thing about intuition and starting to listen to your intuition and trusting and acting on your intuition as well, is that it's not always a happy experience. You don't always get a positive experience from listening to your intuition. Sometimes your intuition says, quit your job, break up with that person. It says, it might say, take the scenic route home. And the next thing you know, you're sitting in traffic, but you're in this beautiful scenery, right? And so maybe the lesson of your intuition is to just pause and be present with the beautiful scenery while you're sitting in this traffic, instead of just rushing home to do the same thing again that you do every night, right? So the intuition is about taking you on a journey. It's not always necessarily going to be a happy outcome though, right? And a lot of times when you're starting to listen to your intuition and you're rebuilding trust in your intuition, you have to be really honest with yourself. Because a lot of times what we take away, or what takes us away from our intuition, is that we've put our trust so much in other people that we've taken the trust out of ourselves. And so part of reconnecting to your intuition is that you have to rebuild that trust in yourself, which means you have to call back your power from all of the places and powers that be that you gave it to. You need to call it back to yourself and make the decision that you're going to start making your own choices, and recognizing that you do have more choices than you might be aware of. And the more you come inward, the more you try to understand yourself and to understand what's happening inside of you, inside of your mind, inside of your heart, and start living from that place, the more genuine the relationships become. The more grounded the relationships and the conversations become, and the experiences become. And the more dignity there is just in your day-to-day life, because you know you're living from a place of truth for yourself. And when you do that, it starts to ripple out around the people around you. It starts a wave effect. And it's like, well, what are you doing? What are you doing differently? And it's like, I'm listening to my intuition. I'm trusting myself. I'm doing things that I feel I want to do. And I'm saying no to things that I don't want to do. I'm doing things differently because my intuition said, take this route home from work instead of this route. It said, leave that job and go start your new career, go back to school, go do this thing. And I'm trusting that because that is what's happening inside me. It's what I've always wanted, right? And the other thing, the next part of that is that there's always going to be naysayers. There's always going to be people judging you. There's always going to be people telling you you're crazy. There's always going to be people telling you you're doing the wrong thing. I promise that, okay? They exist in your friends groups, they exist in your family, they exist at your job, they exist everywhere, they exist on the internet, we call them trolls, they're freaking everywhere, okay? But your job is to not let those people lead your life. And that's how you build resilience. It's that you have all those things, you acknowledge all those people, you acknowledge all that they're saying, and you take into consideration if they are someone that should be giving you considerations, and you believe and trust in their considerations that they're sharing with you, you listen to that, but then you discern for yourself. Okay, this is what I want. This is what my intuition says. This is what someone else is telling me. They're a trusted advisor. I'm going to sit and I'm going to discern. Maybe I go to another trusted advisor or counsel or friend that I know will support me in this without telling me what to do, right? And then you discern for yourself what the best plan of action is, okay? And that requires honesty. Because you might be afraid. The fears are going to come. You're definitely going to be afraid. I'm afraid. We're all afraid. We got to work through and overcome the fear through action. So by really showing up for your intuition and showing up to rebuild yourself in this way and rebuild your trust with yourself by allowing your intuition to be your guiding light, you're going to find that, like I said earlier, your relationships deepen, they get better, there's more integrity, there's more dignity, there's more groundedness, and there's more trust and honesty within yourself. You will have breakthroughs. You will see your life transform throughout your life, before your eyes. Okay? Your life will transform. And I only know this because I've been doing it and studying it for the past almost more than half a decade. And so I'm really grateful that you're here, and I'm grateful that we're going to continue to build your intuition, my intuition along with it, and that you're here for this journey because there's so much coming. And so for this week, my invitation is to recognize and pay attention to when your intuition is speaking. That's it. That's my whole invitation for this week. Understand that everyone has an intuition. We can all develop it. It's going to be scary. It's going to take courage. You're going to have to be honest with yourself. And this week, all I want you to do is start to listen. Invite your intuition in. Invite your internal spirit in. And we'll work on continually every week how to build it, how to develop it. You'll be getting little practices and tips sprinkled on top. For this week, just invite your intuition in. Invite your intuition to the table and give her a listen. Him a listen, it a listen, whatever you want to call it. Okay, that's it. Just listen to your intuition this week. Notice what it says. If you want to take it a step further and you want to journal about it, go for it. Journal. We'll talk about journaling in another video. But Intuition 101, everyone's got one. Learn to trust it. We've all been separated from it. It is a practice to return to it. Step number 1, listen to it this week. Just let her come into the experience with you. All right. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking with me for 11 minutes. I hope you are having a beautiful day, and I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next Thursday.